The morning of March 13th, 2026, I lost my brother. Not by blood, but by life, by faith, and by everything we built together. And the crazy part is that nobody saw this coming. So today I don't want to just talk about loss. I want to talk about friendship, brotherhood, and God's purpose. And why you cannot wait to tell people what they mean to you. Let's go. Hola, ¿qué tal? My name is Noan El Boricua, and welcome to Fuel Pasión Podcast, where we grew. Wow, this is going to be a really tough video for me to make, and I have notes here on the side. We're about cultura, faith, and conexiones. And as always, if this is a blessing and if you found any value, I hope you could subscribe. Maybe you could share this with somebody. And I want to open up to first say that I'm going to cry. I've been trying to really think about how to go about this and really hold off tears, but it's okay to cry. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone that has reached out. Thank you to everyone that has been willing. I know that I haven't returned phone calls. I know that some people haven't texted. And you just got to give me some time. Look, I know I'm that dude that's always about motivating and out there and really trying to check on you. But I'm just grateful that my family's been here. I'm grateful for the close family of the Abners, and just grateful for my church and grateful for my boss. She's been an amazing leader checking in on me. So this video, my hope is to be able to portray a little bit about the journey um, of my friend and brother, Abner Dominguez. So Abner was my brother, mi hermano. I think some of us know that he would say, "What up, hermano?" Whenever you would see him at church. And I think for me, when I think of Abner, he was someone that I served with. He was someone that I did life with. I've known this man over 20 years. And to know that the past 4.5 years, he even worked at the same company as I did, different, part of the organization, but just to know that he was there, and I'll touch on that later. But I think sometimes we underestimate what real friendship is. Um, Real friendship isn't just hanging out. It's about sharpening each other. It's about being there for each other, and it's about showing up when it matters most. And that was the Abner. Look, Abner served in our church context in many different ways. I don't think a lot of people know, but I think students and volunteers, Abner was so laid back. Abner was so welcoming that sometimes you didn't even know what his background was. And this man had the chance to be able to go to UC Irvine, graduate from Cal State Dominguez, and to be able to work, helping out kids at Kids Corners here in the South Bay, up in PV area. And then eventually he worked at a local warehouse, which then landed him to be able to work at Nike. Abner and I literally did life together beyond just the church. We went to concerts together. We rocked out. We headbanged. And just like, and we would have hot dogs in LA right after the concerts. We would go to games together, but we would also go to conferences to make ourselves better as leaders and volunteers within the faith based context, but here locally at Oreb. And I think that's why for me, I think about this proverb and it says, iron sharpens iron. And that was my brother, my friend, Abner. We literally sharpened each other, which I will say many times we did not agree on certain things, even from a very like holistical view framework. A lot of times we saw differently, but the one thing that aligned us was the purpose and the vision, which made us even stronger and gave benefit then to that project or that, time of season that we were in. But I think one of the first things that I want to challenge all of you is around that. How does iron sharpen iron? Let's get into that. When we think about iron, a sword, we're both iron, Abner and I. But not all blades are shaped the same. And I give this context because one of the things that I remember Abner was when he had transitioned into a 9 to 5 job after serving at Kids Corners for many, many years for after school program. I remember that he had so many challenges navigating just the business and the politics of an office. Abner's background was like in logistics, and he finally got the job of where he wanted to be in, and it was just there was a very big challenge for him to understand how to navigate that. So there was one night on a Wednesday where he says, "Yo, can I talk to you?" And I said, "100%." So I thought maybe there was something that I did, or maybe I offended him. I don't know. And sure enough, we go and we end up talking just outside of my car. And Abner says, "Hey, man, I'm really struggling with this job. I'm struggling with this leader of mine. I don't know how you do it. How do you navigate?" And the conversation ends up kind of being a moment of him really just sharing where he's at and how he serves and how it almost at some point he kept kind of comparing himself to me. Can you relate? Where sometimes maybe you've been that person that you're letting that colleague know or that friend or that mentor and you're letting them know like, yo, I'm trying to do what you do. And I had to stop him. And because there came a point where like he even started crying because he just wants to get it right in his point of his life. And I looked at Abner and I told him, "You're not called to be me. You're called to be Abner." Because God doesn't create clones, He creates individual purpose in each and every one of us. And I think for me, right, I think of this iron sharpens iron, and yes, it's the same material, but it's a different design, Abner to me. But we have the same mission in life, which was to be able to elevate ourselves in the career that we were in. And I think for me, the lesson that I was really thinking about in that moment was look, I told Abner, I'm like, yo, man, you're going to figure this out. And I remember the day that like 4.5 years ago, I get at work, we use Slack, and I get a Slack message from a guy named Abner. And I was a little confused because I was like, wait a minute, like the only Abner I know is Abner Dominguez. And as he's like, and those that know Abner, you guys know Abner, he likes to be funny and he sends these random things. And I'm trying to figure it out. So I send him a text only to find out that Abner got a job at our local DC warehouse here in LA. I couldn't believe it. He sent me his black badge. Then I knew it was like legit. I thought maybe he got a job at the store, but no, he got a job in exactly what you wanted. Sometimes the job that you pick really allows you to showcase your gifts. And I think Abner's team at our local DC warehouse here at Nike really showed Abner the ropes. They really how to master the fundamentals, which then allowed Abner to really like showcase his skill set to the point where like he had a chance to be able to, you know, onboard others and to be able to work with some amazing people within our marketing teams to be able to do the job that he did. And I'm so happy that Abner got to do that. And I know that God called him short, but I think one of the things is that I want him to understand, I want you to understand that you don't need to copy someone to be impactful. You don't. All you need to do is really be the one that God called you to be. So like if you're in school or if you're navigating a job right now as you're transitioning to the career that you want, or maybe you're trying to elevate yourself just like I am. That's my goal this year. I'm trying to elevate myself at my job. Be you. Because that was Abner. Abner was willing to be himself, that even his leader and him ended up being such great friends. And I'm really grateful that he came to visit him when Abner got really sick and everything went so fast. But I just wanted to like really let you guys know that iron does sharpen iron, but we're not all called to be the same type of blade. God calls you individually to your purpose. I want to give a shout out to Lisa. These tissues came in handy here in the office. Let me tell you why having a great teammate is amazing. Look, Abner loves the Dodgers. I would wear my hat forward, but it really shadows me and I don't have the best lighting. So I'm wearing my hat backwards. You know what Abner taught me? He taught me the power of having the right people around you. Remember, in order to be great, surround yourself with greatness. Whether it was at church, whether it was at work, or just even in life, Abner taught me surround yourself with really amazing people in order to be able to, elevate yourself and challenge yourself to get to a whole nother level that God called you to be. And I think for me, when the right teammates are there with you, let me tell you something. They don't compete with you. They're not jealous of your work. They don't say, "Oh, must be nice." No, not at all. If anything, they complete you. They complete the arson of what you do. They complete the skill sets of what you need. They see your blind spots and they call them out when you have it. They push you in an area of like, "Yo, man, I need to talk to you." And I remember there was a couple times where in my time of like here serving our youth, I remember Abner and Miguel, and Abner said, "Yo, can we push you? Like, can I challenge you?" And I think for me, Abner made me better because of that. Because here it is. When you have people like that in your life, you don't take that for granted. And I think for me, I got a chance to do so much great things with Abner. Like Abner and I got to be able to make so much impact. People don't know this about Abner, but he served local in our church. He taught our Sunday schools, high school and junior high students for years. He also was our VBS director. For those that don't know, it's a summer vacation Bible school every year that a lot of churches do. So locally here at our church, Abner was that person. He was our director of our Christian education at one point as a volunteer, and he led these campaigns. He led these, and everybody saw that Abner was always willing about you do you. Like, do what you got to do. Like, I want to see you shine. He would be at the church, the earliest, the first one. I know some of you guys remember that. Like, he would be the first one for weeks being at the church, opening the doors to let anybody based on your schedule to come in, to draw, to make a decoration, to set things up. Like, Abner was that amazing teammate. Like for me, Abner was and is that MVP when it came to his life and my life. Like Abner understood that, look, I know I can't be the best speaker, so let's lean on that. But the beauty about Abner was he always kept it real. He would give you the feedback if you needed it. And that was something that I really appreciated from Abner. Now, one of the things that I've been trying to do throughout this whole process, that this just hits different. If I'm being honest, I just can't like move on that fast. To be honest, for many of us, we need to process it, starting with me. It's important to be able to talk to someone, to be able to lean into your community, and to be able to use resources that are around you. I am so grateful for my job because I have the chance to have so many sessions to speak on this very subject of my friend. I'm grateful for my friends and my peers that have leaned in and that have given me the space that I needed. I'm grateful just to know that I do not have to do life alone. Look, yes, God is with me. Yes, He is my refuge. Yes, He gives me strength in my weakness. But I'm human and I need a process. I need a process because healing doesn't happen in isolation, it happens in community. And I'm grateful for mindfulness. I'm grateful for the spiritual life that I have, but I'm also grateful for movement to be able to get out, walk, work out, enjoy the sounds and the sights of what God has created. And my hope is that if you're struggling after you lose someone, or maybe you're struggling in life, wherever you're at, I just want you to know that you can have those resources around you. And if you don't have someone that can be able to help you, there, I'm gonna put up a number where you can reach out in times of crisis. But I also want to say that you could reach out to me. Look, I don't have a doctorate. I am not a counselor. I'm not any of those things, but I know someone and I know some people. And I hope that I can at least point them in that direction for you. So make sure that you always process, and this is going to take a really long time. It is. Because I shared with my friend Mario, another brother of mine, and I was like, yo, Mario, Abner, you and me were supposed to grow old together. We're supposed to be the old dudes that everybody makes fun of. But God called Abner to heaven, and I am grateful that he's no longer suffering. So I want to leave you guys with this. It's important to understand, and if there's anything you could take away from this. If you've been listening and you've been watching a lot of the content that I put out, and even with many of the people that I mentor, you know who you are. One of the biggest things I always talk about is about gratitude, and is about being thankful for the people that are in your lives. If there's one thing that I'm grateful for, is that I never waited to tell Abner how much he meant to me. I never waited. I told Abner how much I appreciated him, and I showed Abner how much I loved him. And now I don't live with that regret. Look, I'm an emotional wreck, but I cry because I'm so happy that I was able to tell Abner for so many years now, bro, I love you. Bro, I appreciate you. That could have been a text, an audio message. I tend to send audio messages because I feel that there's more impact in an audio versus just a text. I would call him. So one of the things that the last time we FaceTime was when the Dodgers won the World Series. And both of our connections were horrible for whatever reason. And we couldn't see each other, but we were just laughing and we were so excited. And I think for me, I don't have to live with that regret. So here's my challenge to each and every one of you, those that are part of Abner's family, those that are friends of Abner's, and those that worked with Abner, or maybe you're just here because you watched this content. Here is my challenge to you today. I don't want you to wait. I want you to call that friend. I want you to text that brother, that sister, that cousin. I want you to tell your people that you love them and you appreciate them for making you a better leader, for making you a better worker, for making you a better student, or make a better whatever that looks like. Don't wait. Send them that reminder. Let them know, because tomorrow's never guaranteed. So to conclude this video, I, as well as many of his family, we know where he is. And that gives me peace. But his life, his impact, his friendship, and that legacy will stay with me until the day that I get to see him in heaven. And if anything, I want to live in a way that honors that. Remember, as my mentor, Dr. Larry Costa, says, we suffer in isolation, but we heal in community. Many of my colleagues, and the first person that comes to mind is Jason, don't do life alone. Let's walk together, no matter how hard it is. We don't need to talk. We just need a shoulder to cry on sometimes. To the Dominguez family, we love you. I think one of the biggest things, if I were to add a bonus here, was that Abner was about family. Every time I asked him if he wanted to do something after a service or after some, weekend, I would always tell him like, yo, do you want to hang out? Do you want to do this? And he goes, no, I'm gonna go see my brother and his wife. Oh, I'm gonna hang out with my niece. Or every Sunday he would like, oh no, I'm gonna go to my Theo's house. I'm gonna go to my Theo Elio's. I'm gonna go hang out. I don't know how he became a Denver Broncos fan, but you know why? And I know how. It's because of his uncle, his Theo. All his cousins from Elio's daughters, they were like sisters to Abner. Priscilla and Miguel, Abner would always visit them to see, his goddaughter Eden. Like, Abner was about family. Because a lot of times we see our people that are always in the front and they're always helping out. They're always leading. They're always, and you kind of wonder like, yo, does he not? Yeah, he had family life. Abner was loved by his parents, his sibling, just everyone in the Dominguez family and the extended family loved Abner. And for my students, many of them are grateful that he taught them how to drive. they saw him and they still see him as a big brother, someone that was so generous, someone that was compassionate, and the one that always said every Sunday, "How was your week?" Because he wanted to make sure that students were heard and that students were valued. Abner, thank you. I love you. I will see you. Thank you. If you watched this video till the end, if you can, head on over to our website. And as always, immerse yourself dentro de la cultura, grow in your faith, and make and maintain those conexiones. We love you, Abner. Como dice mi abuelita, que Dios te bendiga.